their business responsibly and help to the governments to address the challenges which I've mentioned before.
Wow, this is a new leader who is joining the new wave of revolution and changes in your mother continent Africa, led by young leaders such as Captain Traore and many others. This time, African leaders are calling for unity. My dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans, before moving too far, let me salute you in the name of Pan-Africanism and take this opportunity to welcome you at this moment where we're going to focus on this diplomatic tour of the President of Namibia, President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. Following her diplomatic tour from Botswana to Zambia, President Ndaitwah is calling for more than alliance. She is calling for action, job creation, energy infrastructure, and intra-African trade that puts Africans first. Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema stands with her, arguing African nations to break economic dependence and start doing business with each other. Together, these leaders could reshape South African nations and possibly the whole continent. Is this the moment we have been waiting for? Is President Netumbo Ndaitwah the woman to fulfill Traore's Pan-African dream in the southern part of our mother continent Africa? And will other African leaders join her in this rising movement of unity? So, Make Africa Great is your home for powerful, uplifting stories from across the continent. So, let us go and listen what President of Namibia and President of Zambia said when they meet in discussion about the future of this continent. Welcome.
We recognize the importance of infrastructure in economic development of some of the instruments that we have signed.
Wow, that is Madam Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the new president of Namibia. You can see how she's so visionary and so revolutionary. One thing I love from her is his vision of providing free land for neighboring countries that have no access to oceans to build their own dry port in Namibia. The land is for free. You can see this is what we call love and unity. We cannot work together and calling each other if we are not giving access to each other to access these critical and important things like ports. And this has proven long to those countries in West Africa, the country that denied landlocked countries such as Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to access the ocean after these countries withdrawn from ECOWAS. So you can see how this African women, brave leader, is so visionary. This is a good thing. And also, Madam Netumbo Ndaitwah has spoken on the issue of job creation. And of course, we need to create a job because if you look, our population, 75% of our population are young people who are below 30 years old. So we need to create environment where these young men and women can go and work and can contribute positive to our development and to our mother continent, Africa. Without doing so, we are going to see riots, we are going to see instability in your mother continent, Africa, because if we are not going to create environment for these young men and women to go and work, that those who have bad intention will rob these young men and women and train them, give them money, and sometimes feed them drugs so that they can start destabilizing our mother continent, Africa. So we need to create jobs, as Madam Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah said. Of course, also she's spoken about the issue of building gas pipeline. That is an important issue. We know these countries are so rich. If you talk about Zambia, Zambia is the main producer of copper. Zambia has this what we call coltan, is the main producer of this rare earth. We have Namibia. We know that Namibia has uranium, you see, has oil and gas. So if these countries can work together, the way our leaders have said, if these things is going to happen, I'm sure the southern part of our mother continent Africa is going to raise up. We need leaders to think on how they can come together, utilize these resources, and create jobs for our young men and women, and also develop their nation. We have no reason for us to look outside while we have these resources. What we need is right leadership. And the leadership of Madam Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah is the kind of leadership that we want. We want leaders who see opportunities through our resources, through our environment. That's why we are saying we need to support leaders who have good intention to our mother continent Africa. And I hope if these leaders, these continent, people in this continent can start working together, we have no reason to go and begging for anyone. We need to support this movement. And I saw even President Hakainde Hichilema has said that we need to start trading among ourselves to look what we need, what we import, and what we can offer. So let us now go to President Hakainde Hichilema and listen what he said also about this matter of integration. Welcome.
She'll be the one to run things, because this visit really, for us, is an honor to us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, that is President Hakainde Hichilema, the president of Zambia. And of course, he agreed with what President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah said. But if you listen, all leaders are talking about unity, integration, working together. All those leaders are, their vision are toward a united Africa. But in this portion of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, he focused on the issue of businesses, how we can start doing businesses among ourselves, trade with each other. And of course, he focused on that we need to build infrastructures that are facilitating businesses among Africans. If you look at the current infrastructure that we have, many of our infrastructures, and of course, have been saying this many times, we have these colonial infrastructures that are taking resources out of our mother continent Africa. But it's not the infrastructures that are uniting Africans. So many of our infrastructures are accessing the ports, taking resources from certain countries to access the port. And these ports are for taking away our resources. Now we want infrastructure that are connecting people, not connecting ports. We want infrastructure that are connecting Africans to do business among themselves. And we want infrastructure that are connecting these landlocked countries, Zambia, Botswana, you see, Rwanda. We want to see that Africans can look within, not outside. And it is possible. And that's why I think President Hakainde Hichilema emphasized that there's a need for us to look what we import and what we export, and the neighboring countries, what they have, and how we can do to access those things that they have. But all in all, to achieve all these things, we need to have infrastructures. Infrastructures is very, very, very important. That's why President Netumbo, she's spoken about the issue of railway. We need to have railway. We need to have these railway that can connect to these countries where people can do business among themselves. And it is obvious for Africans to do business with others instead of doing business among ourselves. So let us now focus on creating infrastructures. And of course, we have resources. What we need to do is to mobilize our resources. Let us having a plans, mission, and vision, what we want as Africa, at what time, and when will it be accomplished. I think if we can start doing like that, we can achieve. What we need is a right leadership. We need leaders who saw the future of our mother continent, Africa, leaders who can help this continent to achieve, not leaders who are here to work for the interest of the West. So, my dear lovely family, friends, let us now go on the issue of this short documentary. Then I will come to you to conclude about this working visit and this matter of the two presidents, President Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia, as well as President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah of Namibia. Let us listen to this short documentary.
When President Ndaitwah visited Botswana and later Zambia, the message unifier, Captain Thomas Sankara Traoré, echoes across generations. Today, a new leader steps into the spotlight. Namibia's first female president, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. But here's the question. Is she the voice Southern Africa has been waiting for?
Yes, welcome back. Now we are going to conclude, my dear lovely family. You heard a lot of things, but if you look very keenly, you will understand that in all those things where what our leaders have said concerning about unity, working together, infrastructures, those are raised issues that are very important in this video. So starting with infrastructures, of course, we need to build infrastructure that are connecting our people. We need to have railway, and you heard about gas pipeline. These countries want to build a gas pipeline. Also the issue of energy. Of course, if you have gas, you can produce electricity through gas. Oil, of course, these countries, for instance, Namibia has oil. So I think we have everything. What we need is political wills and implementation from what we have agreed and what we want to do as Africans. So I hope through this process, through these initiatives, maybe our leaders will start thinking about how we can achieve. Yes, sometimes we find ourselves that we have no capital, but I'm sure if we can think it properly and include our young men and women in this process. You know, many things, it looks like it's not ours. Many things have agreed and remains in the hands of our leaders. But these things must go to citizens. This should be owned by citizens. And the problem that I see in Africa, many agreements are owned by leaders, not owned by citizens. That's why it's very, very difficult to implement. Even citizens, they see themselves that they're not part of development. That's why sometimes they wait for the government. But if we can give these agreements and these plans to the people, we can see how the people will participate. We have seen in Burkina Faso where young people are in the street paving the roads, cleaning the roads. We have seen some of them building and constructing roads. That is what we need. We need to create the new communities that will feel at the part of their nation. And also another issue that I saw it is very important is the issue of Pan-Africanism. We need to have a generation that has a spirit of Pan-Africanism. Because these leaders, yes, maybe they come together, they agreed, they work together, but what about people? What about citizens? So we need to create the spirit of Pan-Africanism within our people. If we can do so, I hope many things will be simple. And that's why I take an example of Burkina Faso. You saw how young people in Burkina came out in numbers, came out with their skills, with their little equipment, contribute to their nation. That's what we need to do here in the continent of Africa. The way you see the Chinese are doing, we need also Africans to have such kind of spirit where all of us, we can see that we are the part of contributing in national building or in the continental building. If we can do like that, I hope our leaders will use a lot of few energy to convince people and to tell people what they want to do. But if we are not going to do so, you will see nothing will happen because it will be difficult for us to achieve. And also we need leadership. And of course, through the spirit of Pan-Africanism, we'll get leaders who are patriotic, because if you look very, very keenly right now, some of our leaders are not patriotic, and that's why they steal from us. They hide money in Europe, in some islands, in Arab countries. Why? Because they are not patriotic. The systems that are used to obtain these leaders are corrupt systems. So we need to build a new generation that will achieve a pan-Africanism dreams. And it is possible. It is possible if we can start investing in our education. You see, all these things will be possible if we can invest in education system, light education system, not this current education that we have that is colonial. And that's why it is very easy when you hear that there is a scholarship. Many of our young men and women are ready to run away to go to Europe to seek this scholarship. At the end of the day, those who attend or get scholarship are the ones who are coming to destroy our mother continent Africa. And some of them are being used to distract our mother continent Africa. Not all, some of them. So, my dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans, a lot of things has been spoken here. So I'm waiting to hear from you also. What is your opinions? What is your suggestion? What can we do as Africans to achieve what our leaders are dreaming? But all in all, my dear lovely family, one thing is very important for us is unity. Unity is very, very, very important for us, because if we can unite, we can start working together, we can trust one another, we can believe one another. From there, we can support one another. This is our mother continent, Africa. No one is coming to build this continent. It's me and you who are responsible to change this continent. Maybe in your lifetime, we have to set foundation where the coming generation will start building walls, and at the end of the day, the coming generation will start roofing. At the end of the day, our home, our house will be complete with everything. My dear lovely family, up to that, let us not speak for too long. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for being here, for taking your time and be part of revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Africa. Mama Africa, you make African great. Thank you, freedom. Thank you, Africa.